Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. I'm your host, Ellen, and today we have 100 questions on nostalgia. Let's take a look at our Quiz Class awards. Let us know how you rank in the comments at the end, along with the answer to the bonus question. So let's begin right away. What color is the hat of the 1952 toy Mr. Potato Head? Black, brown, or orange? Black. What 1960s television show introduced the catchphrase, Danger Will Robinson? Lost in Space, Gilligan's Island, or The Flintstones? Lost in Space. Which original 1976 Apple computer is now a collectible? Apple I, Apple II, or Apple III? Apple I. Which 1963 Chevrolet model was a baby boomer favorite? Camaro Rally Sport, El Camino Trim, or the two-door hardtop Impala? The two-door hardtop Impala. Where was Samuel L. Jackson born on December 21st, 1948? New York, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, or Washington, D.C.? Washington, D.C. Where in the U.S. were the 1960 Winter Olympics held? Telluride, Jackson Hole, or Squaw Valley? Squaw Valley. What 1950s seatbelt type later became a mandatory safety feature? 3-point, 3-star, or 3-square? Three-point. What was a great party called in 1950s slang? Bash, dive, or rumble? A bash. Where in the U.S. was the first swamp pop music festival in the 1950s? Alabama, Louisiana, or Georgia? Louisiana. Which company launched the Fire and Ice lipstick and nail polish line in 1952? CoverGirl, Max Factor, or Revlon? Revlon. Who wrote the 1953 children's book, The Story of Babar the Little Elephant? Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, Jean de Brunoff, or Ludwig Benmal Mans? Jean de Brunoff. Which fashion brand was founded in Spain in the 1940s? Lara, Lowe, or Mango? Zara. What happened to Marvel Comics Captain America in the 1950s? Retirement, assassination, or defection? Retirement. Which character was one of the first featured on Pez dispensers in the mid 1950s? Winnie the Pooh, Alice, or Donald Duck? Donald Duck. What type of material did New York's Lever House introduce with a prominent skyscraper in 1952? Copper, glass, or carbon? Glass. Which Roald Dahl character was adapted to film in 1971? Willy Wonka, the BFG, or Matilda? Willy Wonka. Which animal was used to market Kellogg's Frosted Flakes in 1952? Tony the Tiger, Timmy the Tiger, or Theo the Tiger? Theo the Tiger. Tony the Tiger. Which artist released the 1975 song Listen to What the Man Said? Pink Floyd, The Clash, or Paul McCartney and Wings? Paul McCartney and Wings. What type of writing made Gwendolyn Brooks the first African American to win the Pulitzer Prize in 1950? Journalism, fiction, or poetry? Poetry. What was 20th century socialite Zsa Zsa Gabor's heritage? Austrian American, Hungarian American, or Belgian American? Hungarian American. Which 1960 U.S. government project was for extraterrestrial intelligence exploration? Project Alta, Project Edna, or Project Ozma? Project Ozma. Who starred in the 1960 film adaptation of the musical western Paint Your Wagon? Clint Eastwood, Frank Sinatra, or Paul Newman? Clint Eastwood. Which Arizona natural area was made a national park in 1958? Saguaro National Park, Grand Canyon National Park, or Petrified Forest National Park? Petrified Forest National Park. Which company made hula hoop and frisbee in the 1950s? Whammy, Wham-I, or Wham-O? Wham-O. Which world leader gave the On the Cult of Personality and Its Consequences speech in 1956? Leonid Brezhnev, Joseph Stalin, or Nikita Khrushchev? Nikita Khrushchev. What modern puzzle form debuted in a Dell magazine as Number Place in 1979? Riddle, Wordle, or Sudoku? Sudoku. What was not a leading theme of 1950s cinema? Cold War anxieties, communism, or feminism? Feminism. What dance style was popular in the 1950s? Hoop steps, hat jumps, or sock hops? Sock hops. In which decade was the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list introduced? The 40s, the 50s, or the 60s? The 1950s. We are at question 30. Which multinational consumer electronics store started as Sound of Music in Minnesota in 1966? Best Buy, Sam's Club, or GameStop? Best Buy. Which Disney character was introduced with a Zip-a-Dee-Doo-Dah song in 1946? Brer Rabbit, Peter Pan, or Goofy? Brer Rabbit. Which musician was fired from the Beatles in 1962? Paul Bass, Phil Boss, or Pete Best? Pete Best. Where was cyclosporin isolated in 1971? Luxembourg, Bulgaria, or Switzerland? Switzerland. Which fictional Wisconsin town is Barbie from? Cedars, Willows, or Oaks? Willows. How many brothers are featured in the 1959 television show Bonanza? 2, 3, or 4? Three. Pre-1979, what was the McDonald's Happy Meal promotion called in Canada? Treat of the Week, Toy of the Week, or Trinket of the Week? Treat of the Week. What were the world's first amateur radio satellites in 1961? Oscar 1, Ezra 1, or Igor 1? Oscar 1. Which 1977 movie did Sally Field and Burt Reynolds meet making? Love Story, Smokey and the Bandit, or The Way We Were? Smokey and the Bandit. Where was the Super Bowl held on January 15th, 1967? Super Bowl I. Los Angeles, New Orleans, or New York City? Los Angeles. What discovery was then used for superglue in 1951? Cyanoacrylate, duroacrylate, or fermoacrylate? Cyanoacrylate. What did jive turkey mean in 1970s slang? High energy person, a noisy talker, or a dishonest person? A dishonest person. Where in the UK was the first Bellew Jazz Festival held in 1956? Kent, Liverpool, or Hampshire? Hampshire. Complete the Elizabeth Arden 1946 perfume. Blue grass, blue moon, or blue water? Blue grass. Complete the title of this 1948 Robert McCloskey children's book. Blueberries for Sal, Blackberries for Sal, or Boysenberries for Sal? Blueberries for Sal. In 1957, where did the fashion house Yves Saint Laurent start? Dior, Chanel, or Lanvin? Dior. What new villain type challenged Batman in 1950s comics? Political, sci-fi, or robotic? Sci-fi. From where were goldfish crackers brought to the US in 1962? Israel, Switzerland, or Norway? Switzerland. What architectural style challenged the modernist style in the late 70s? Brutalism, Stalinism, or postmodernism? Postmodernism. Which character replaced Porky Pig as the face of Looney Tunes in the late 40s? Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, or Tweety Bird? Bugs Bunny. De Beers launched what marketing campaign in 1947? A diamond is for her, a diamond is everything, or a diamond is forever? A diamond is forever. We are at question 51, excuse me. Which artist released the 1960 song Georgia on My Mind? Roy Orbison, Ray Charles, or Ringo Starr? Ray Charles. Which singer was arrested with her mother during a 1967 anti-draft protest? Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez, or Janis Joplin? Joan Baez. What is the full title of James Baldwin's 1953 novel, Go Tell It on the Law, On the Mountain, or On the Street? Go Tell It on the Mountain. Which university was President John F. Kennedy's alma mater? Harvard, Yale, or Stanford? Harvard University. Where did the USSR's uncrewed spacecraft Luna 20 land in 1972? Mars, Saturn, or the Moon? The Moon. Who starred in the 1972 film Cabaret? Elizabeth Taylor, Barbra Streisand, or Liza Minnelli? Liza Minnelli. What magnitude was the Chile earthquake of 1960? 5.5, 7.5, or 9.5? 9.5. Where was the Slip and Slide released in 1961? The Austin Toy Fair, the Denver Toy Fair, or the New York Toy Fair? The New York Toy Fair. Which activist gave the I am prepared to die speech in 1964? Malcolm X, Darcus Howe, or Nelson Mandela? Nelson Mandela. Where did the world's first breeder reactor, Experimental Breeder Reactor 1, start on December 20th, 1951? Oklahoma, Minnesota, or Idaho? Idaho. Which 1963 Alfred Hitchcock film was based on a real-life attack in California? Psycho, Rear Window, or The Birds? The Birds. What music collections were popular starting in the 50s? Vinyl records, cassette tapes, or gramophones? Vinyl records. Which 1940s and 50s criminal was called a menace to every man, woman, and child in America? John Montana, Vito Genovese, or Thomas James Holden? Thomas James Holden. Which grocer was the first in the US to test an electronic scanner in the 1970s? Walmart, Costco, or Kroger? Kroger. When released in 1959, which Disney film had the most expensive animation ever? Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, or Alice in Wonderland? Sleeping Beauty. What animal's heart was used for the first heart transplant in 1964? Gorilla, orangutan, or the chimpanzee? Chimpanzee. Which toy car line was inspired by Matchbox? American Hot Wheels, Thomas the Tank Engine, or Lego? American Hot Wheels. Which country artist provided the music for the 1970s Dukes of Hazzard television series? Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, or Waylon Jennings? Waylon Jennings. From 1950, which company started inserting trading cards into their bubblegum packs? Big League Chew, Wrigley Company, or the Topps Company Incorporated? The Topps Company Incorporated. What type of model making was popular in the 1960s? Model bunkers, model tanks, or model rockets? Model rockets. Which Which visual artist made the 1963-64 sculpture group Women and Dog? Marisol, Mariposa, or Marinette? Marisol. What nationality were the winning men's and women's singles players at the 1970 US Open? Australian, Canadian, or Scottish? Australian. What was the 1960 Tyros 1 the first type of? Weather satellite, communication satellite, or a military satellite? A weather satellite. What did all show and no go mean in 1960s slang? A stylish parked vehicle, a car needing a wash, or a good-looking car that lacked power? A good-looking car that lacked power. Where was the Montreux Rock Dance event held in 1967? Utah, Montana, or California? California. What inspired ban roll-on deodorant in the 1950s? Bug repellent, bistro cleaner, or ballpoint pens? Ballpoint pens. Which word is missing from this 1960 DuBose Hayward children's book? The country and the little gold shoes. The country puppy, the country bunny, or the country kitten? The country bunny and the little gold shoes. Where did the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line begin in 1950? Norway, Denmark, or Sweden? Norway. What type of art featured prominently in the Doctor Strange comic series in the 1960s? Slippy art, drippy art, or trippy art? Trippy art. What fizzing candy became popular with children in 1975? Ghost drops, warheads, or pop rocks? Pop rocks. How many stories did the Willis Tower in Chicago have at completion in 1973? 110, 130, or 150? $110. What did Daffy Duck's zany trait change to in the 1950s to the 1960s? Dopey, greedy, or lazy? Greedy. What is the iconic Volkswagen advertisement launched in 1959? Start small, drive small, or think small? Think small. Which artist released the 1962 song Sinner Man? Etta James, Nina Simone, or Aretha Franklin? Nina Simone. How old was actress Mia Farrow when she married 50-year-old Frank Sinatra in 1966? 21, 24, or 27? "21. Who wrote the 1965 novel The Millstone? Margaret Drabble, or Margaret Frabble? Margaret Drabble. Which 1950s film wasn't Doris Day known for? Calamity Jane, The Man Who Knew Too Much, or Some Like It Hot? Some Like It Hot. Where was the breathalyzer trademarked in 1954? Indiana, Washington, or Michigan? Indiana. How many mice were on board Apollo 17 in 1972? 5, 15, or 25? 5. Question 90. Which store began stocking Scrabble in 1952 and kick-started its popularity? Neiman Marcus, Macy's, or Bloomingdale's? Macy's. Which activist gave the Address to the Women of America speech in 1971? Phyllis Schlafly, Betty Friedan, or Gloria Steinem? Gloria Steinem. What planet was the USSR probe Venera 3 built to explore? Mars, Saturn, or Venus? Venus. Which film icon elevated martial arts movies to a global level in the 1970s? Chuck Norris, Jackie Chan, or Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee. What type of fountain was popular with 1950s teenagers? Soda, chocolate, or car? Soda. Which apocryphal quote is attributed to the 1940s and 50s bank robber William Francis Sutton? Because that's where the money is, because that's why the banks deserve it, or because that's how the cookie crumbles? Because that's how the cookie crumbles. Which company launched its iconic baby lotion in 1944? Nivea, Johnson & Johnson, or CeraVe? Johnson & Johnson. Which Finnish character was adapted into Japanese anime in 1969? Finnins, Snowbins, or Moomins? Moomins. Where did the last major epidemic of smallpox in Europe start in 1972? Yugoslavia, the USSR, or East Germany? Yugoslavia. In the 1950s, what type of teacher introduced the wallpaper cleaner that became the Play-Doh toy? Preschool, elementary, or high school? Preschool. What is the 1958 comedy film adapted from the book The Year the Yankees Lost the Pennant? Lost Yankees, Damn Yankees, or Soft Yankees? Damn Yankees. And our bonus question. Complete the Coca-Cola jingle. Things go better with what? Let us know the answer in the comments. Let's take another look at our quiz class Einstein rewards, just so you don't forget. Let us know how you did. We'd love to hear it. Thanks for playing this quiz. Don't forget to hit that like button, and we will see you in our next one. Bye-bye.